Welcome to Three the Hard Way Sports Podcast from three guys who talked sports together over lunch for over 10 years, probably eating a Fudgy the Whale in that time.
Welcome, everybody, to Three of the Hard Way Sports Podcast. I'm Bryan Galloway here with, from Parts Unknown, we have Michael Pipersick. How are you, Mike?
Doing great, Bryan. Ready for another lively chat with two of my favorite people on earth.
There we go. Yeah, but okay, but I don't think I was one of them. Okay, anyway.
Oh, come on, Bryan.
I'm like 5 on your list, I think. Okay, so also from the famous beach town of Rumson, New Jersey, we have Alex Shanley. How are you, Alex?
I'm good. I'm feeling good. Memorial Day's over. A lot of things going on. So happy to be here.
I heard there's been a lot of fights at the that's Seaside Heights, not
Seaside
Rumson.
Heights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Different beach town.
Same crowd. Yeah.
Who would have guessed, right, Bryan? A big brawl in Seaside Heights. I never would have guessed that.
It's so funny because I was there a couple of weeks ago and it was beautiful. It was nice. It was friendly, but it was before Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
It's so nice there. You go anytime that when all the bennies aren't there, but bennies go home.
Everything.
Bennies go home. Okay. So let's talk about a couple of things. First off, one of the most troubling things that I've seen in recent sports news just reminds me of back in the old Sayreville hazing, if you remember that, Sayreville High School hazing and the other stuff that was going on. Seton Hall. New Jersey's getting a bad rap now. I feel like I'm on the Garden State podcast here. New Jersey's getting a bad rap here with sports hazing. Seton Hall baseball has been in the news for some crazy sports hazing to the point where a very promising baseball player, which is, I think the person's unnamed, had to transfer schools because of this crazy hazing. What do you guys think about this? Because I would tell you, I was in a fraternity. I did some hazing, but never anything like this. We played college sports. We all played sports. No one does this kind of stuff. What do you guys think about this?
I think it's nuts. I mean, especially in this day and age, like, what are these kids thinking? Like, I don't get it, but it sounds like there's still a lot to be determined of what actually happened, because I think there's kind of one side of the story out there right now. So you have to kind of hold your breath until like the investigation's over, but it seems pretty wacky to me. And I agree, Bryan, I've been sports my whole life and never involved in anything like that.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy. I've pledged a fraternity. We did a lot of crazy hazing. Never anything sexual. Never anything like that. You just don't do that kind of stuff. It's like playing sports. There's a kind of hazing in sports, but nothing. Maybe you have to carry stuff for the seniors or do stuff like that. I mean, we never did stuff like that. It's crazy. Like again, to the extent of my hazing.
Well, give an audience the idea of what was going on. Like it was.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so Seton Hall. So basically, what they did was they forced the kids to do. First of all, they had you can get beat up. You get they would challenge, like, the biggest guys in the team would beat up on the little kids. Then they would do sexual hazing. Then they would strip kids down and make fun of their private parts. And then they did. I don't even want to talk about some of the other stuff they did. The contests they had, or these whatever.
The wrestling.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't even, like, how could you sit in a room and watch that go on and think it's good? Like, if you were just a normal person, and I'll give you my example. This is, pledging my fraternity. It was kind of, they make you do push-ups. And one time they took us in our underwear and put us in a cornfield with a dime, and they found a way to get home. But luckily, Mr. Stockfish came and picked us up. But so but there was nothing that was just, it was more fun, whatever. Nobody got hurt. If you're when I used to stand around and watch, when I became, once I became a brother, I didn't like doing that. Right. I wasn't going to go make people do push-ups. I wasn't going to make. That was my decision. I made. So I was the guy at the Hell Nights and stuff that would give people gum and lifesavers and stuff and help them out and make sure that help them all. And I felt there was always has to be a good balance. So. But if I ever saw something going on that I didn't think it was right, I would step up and say, like, hey, that's a little bit, you're a little too extreme there. Calm down. And people would do it. They would really, they're like, yeah, you know what? No one was that crazy. If I was in a room and I saw so let's say I'm a junior in college, in high school or college, whatever, in Seton Hall, and I'm seeing these freshmen get hazed by the seniors. And I'm seeing this stuff going on. And I'm like, how did they not say something about it? Did they think it's right? I just don't understand. We as human beings, we can't do that. So
And how many kids do they lose because they're like, I'm out of here, man. Especially today where they could just transfer whenever they want.
Yes, that's it. But see, the problem was now he waited too long to transfer, and he had to go to Division.
Well, this
3,
case,
right?
yeah.
This case.
I'm saying how many other kids though?
There probably were others. It's going to come out. I have a feeling. From what I heard, it was bad. It's probably worse. I just don't know. What is the coach doing? Why are the coaches not, supposedly the parents called and the coach said, oh, nothing like that's going on. Don't worry about it. And then it got worse. But the one kid he was beat up so bad, he has like scars on his neck. Because there was some like the biggest guy in the team he had to challenge the biggest guy in the team to a wrestling match. And the guy like beat the hell out of him. Like what kind of a team is that? Yeah, let's have camaraderie. Let's I don't know. I feel that it's wrong. We never did things like that. I would never do it. I just couldn't. I would walk away. I just can't.
It's easy to fix too, because once you break the cycle, right, and the incoming class that has nothing done to them, and there's no hazing, then they don't feel like they need to do it to the next person, right? It's those people that are there that are like, well, it happened to me and it was okay. So
and some of it's fun, some of it's good to bond. Like there's stuff, the pledge class we bonded, and I have to say because for the rest of our life, every time I see one of these guys, because we went through something. But it wasn't death defying, it wasn't physically like things that I'm going to have psychiatric problems for the rest of my life. None of that stuff.
Traumatic. Right,
yeah, I swallowed a goldfish. Wow, it's just like cool. Whatever. It's a fun thing to talk about. I don't know. I just don't understand it. So if this is true, they should ban Seton Hall from college sports for years. I'm sorry, it's terrible that they let that happen.
And that's like a national program. Seton Hall baseball's like, well known, and they're a good team, and
yeah, they're very.
It'd be interesting to see what happens.
Yep, we'll see what happens. So let's see. Let's go.
Definitely would be a career ender for the coach, assuming it's true, and it should be. I think. I'm with you, Brian. I'm probably most probably disappointed in all of the other players that allowed this to happen. Someone needs to step up, and Alex, you said it. Someone needs to break the cycle. But a freshman feels uncomfortable saying no to those things because he's outnumbered, 10-1 or whatever the ratio is, and succumbs to this stuff because he's thinking, hey, I got this scholarship here. I'm a freshman. I'm not in a position to say no. Others before me have gone through it. Who am I to say no? And look, this kid had to transfer. He's got some serious injuries, it sounds like. And he had to use a year of eligibility at a D3 because he left too late. And then he had aspirations to play in the majors, and he's already down, 25% of his eligibility. It's
believe me, if he's good, he'll make it, though. If he's good, he'll make it. But I just, like, where do all these sexual deviants come up? Like, what? Where do kids? And again, let's take this one step back. It goes back to the parents. How are these kids taught that that's good? Right? Who teaches their kids that kind of stuff is good? Like, why would they not be that person to pull away? Okay, let's forget this. This is making me. I just can't.
And this is very, very hot on the heels of the New Mexico State basketball thing, which was very similar.
I know.
Every year you can find one.
Oh, it is.
Really. If you look, every year.
No,
Yeah.
my town had went through one, but it was nowhere near as bad as this stuff. Sayreville had a bad one, and they took the coach and they moved him to. He teaches like nursery school gym now. Like they because he had a long contract and he had tenure, so they 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 put him in. They took him out of the high school and they put him. He does like nursery school gym. I'm not kidding you. Or at the Eisenhower School here on Ernston Road. He does
So
the
he didn't
gym
get fired
for the little
Brian?
kids. No, he didn't get fired. They couldn't
Tenured?
fire him. He had tenure.
Oh,
And-
geez,
and
that
he
is
was- and he-
terrible.
And he was the highest paid.
Yeah, but tenure doesn't save you from getting.
Well,
fired.
this saved him, but something they say he's still around because Donna was working in the school and he was there. She was working as a she sometimes temps there, and he's still there. He teaches gym. Crazy. Gym for like kindergartens. I think whatever Eisenhower's kindergarten to third grade or something.
Is that the right place to put that guy?
Yeah, right. What kind of decision is that?
With him it was he just overlooked it. Like he knew what was going on. Suppose he said he didn't know what was going on, but he just let it go. His coaches were the ones that were responsible for it. But it doesn't matter. He's the guy. He's the leader of these kids. He's the person who's supposed to be the role model. Whatever. Anyway,
Yeah, you're responsible for your program, right? I mean, that's the case, and that's how it should be. You need to know what's going on, especially at that level. Division I, Seton Hall, national program. Somebody's got to know what's going on.
What was the other? Was it Penn State? Oh yeah, remember Penn State? The guy in the shower.
Oh, that was
Sandusky.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My gosh,
that was a bad one.
That's the worst one. That was going on for 30 years, and everybody knew that was going on.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. What kind of this? I don't know. Maybe I'm too vanilla. I don't know. I just can't see this kind of stuff going on.
I'm with you, Brian. I never saw this happen when I played in college either. The worst we had is upperclassmen trying to tell freshmen to carry bags, clean up equipment, whatever the case may be. Nothing in the locker room at all.
And that's kind of expected, clean up, carry the bags of the seniors, do all that. Who cares?
Fine.
Drugs, No, I'm not going to tell you I didn't see drugs. I didn't see a lot of things, but I stayed clear of that, right? I stayed clear of that. That's, Okay, so let's forget that. Let's talk about something good. Alex, what happened in the basketball game yesterday?
Well, the Knicks, they're going to be a game 6. So the Knicks came out in Madison Square Garden, as I figured they would, right? They're down 3-1. The Pacers come in and the Knicks beat them pretty good. And I just kind of figured that's the way it was going to work out. And then the next game is really going to be the one that I think will probably ultimately determine the series. I still feel like the Pacers are going to win it. And I think they were just kind of sleepwalking through this. They wanted to win it on their home court, but we'll see. It's just what Halliburton took like 7 or 8 shots and trying to distribute the ball to make everybody else better. It just didn't seem like they had a game plan to go in there and actually win the game. I'm sure Carlisle did, but I don't know if the players did. And, Jalen Brunson and Big Cat came through and they played great games and, they were really in control. I don't think the Pacers led the game for a single minute. So it was a great game by the Knicks. And, there's not much else to say other than on to game 6. And we'll see, because I think that's the game. I think if the Knicks win that, they have a really good chance to win game 7 in the Garden. But my hopes aren't high. I think that Indiana was just kind of rope-a-doping it in game 5. But I don't know if you guys watched it or not. But
I did. I watched the whole thing.
I mean, what'd you think, Brian? I mean, I didn't.
Well, this is the only thing I will tell you. And this is the Knicks played more under the basket and they seemed to distribute more. And it seemed to me like Brunson was trying to find Cat more. Now Cat played his butt off. Now the thing is, we don't see that version of him all the time. He was playing tough. He was really playing tough. I wish this is, this has been his story from when he started, right? He was always soft. Once in a while would play tough, never kept it. But it was almost like having that elimination game caused him to go out there with a different mindset, because I have not seen the Knicks play that much under the basket. They were distributing, like dishing off in the paint to each other. They don't normally do it that way. Brunson was still Brunson. I still have a lot of issues with the way he just kind of decides he has to take everything. Now, again, that could be the coaching, and it could be the way it's supposed to be. I love the guy. He's a defensive liability. He is a terrific player, but I still think the Knicks. Hart played better, and he's been awful this playoffs. This last round, there's still just something not there. OG's not playing good.
I mean, nobody can guard Cat in this
Yeah.
series, right? It's
So
like
that's why I would just say,
if he goes in there with that every night, he's going to get 25 points.
and that's what they have to do.
But he's the problem, right? Like it's like he shows up some nights and doesn't have that in him.
Yeah, I know.
You know, so it's like I don't think they can guard him personally. Just seeing what he does, like what he did last night, they just played great. But.
Fabulous. This is why he's been a frustrating player for many years. Why you think the Timberwolves would have gotten rid of him if he was playing to his potential? They wouldn't. I don't know. I liked watching the game. I thought they played well. I got worried. There was a time there I got worried. The Pacers. Maybe the Knicks are trying to figure out a better way to guard the Pacers too. I think that there's a chess match going on.
They're playing more guys.
Yeah, Thibodeau is trying to find something. I am not blaming him if the fans around here are going to go after him. It's not him. He's not the reason. I think they need another player. They need one more player. OG, I just don't know why he can't. The guy's miserable scoring now. And Hart has just been. I am glad he benched Hart, at least taking him off the bench. But Hart's been awful, and it's almost like he's trying to do too much. If he plays like Hart, he'll be fine. But he's trying to do too much, and maybe because he's seeing other things, he wants to participate and do that. But I think he's been the biggest downer for me because I like the guy a lot. But I don't know. Let's see.
He's just not a scorer. He's everything else, and I think. During the regular season, that really helps a team. But when you get in the playoffs, and
triple double stuff was like he's like Angel Reese. Don't worry about the stupid triple double. Just go out there and do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. And I just think during the playoffs, everybody locks down, and if you really don't have the ability to score, it really hampers you. And I don't mean that you're going to put up 20 points a game, but you're going to take a wide open shot, and Hart does. He just doesn't always connect on it for sure. So
yeah, I think next year, again, this is a really darn good team. They're young. I just think next year they need another outside shooter, and they need a tough. There's two things they need, right? Well, but hey, did you see that they played Haktori in the last game at the end there?
Yeah,
he's a big dude.
Yeah,
and they during the season, just as he was starting to. He came in the rotation. He played really good one day, and then he got hurt. I have a feeling that they have plans for that guy because he's an athlete, and you think he's going to be good. But anyway, I feel that they need a tough guy and they need another shooter. Now, if that white guy they have, what's his name, Tyler Holick or whatever his name is,
Tyler Holick,
Holick, he could be another. They just need another outside.
He looks
shooter.
tiny on the court.
I know he does. He looks like, like Mark Price's younger brother.
Yeah, it's not like Christian Braun there, right? No. Like I mean. He looks tiny. He came in with that blowout against the Celtics right at the end.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who's this 12-year-old runner on the court?
He does. He looks like
obviously he's earned it, So.
Well, Tibbs likes him too. I think Tibbs does like him, but he's not. Tibbs. It takes a lot to get him to trust you.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't trust the young guys.
No.
That's been a mock on him. So.
Yeah, but sometimes he's right. But there are some that sometimes you have to give him a chance. And right now. They have to give some of these guys a chance. They need somebody else to come pick it up. Cam Payne was doing it for a while. Now he's kind of like not that good. They brought in Landry Shamet.
Landry Shamet.
Well, I used to love him when he back in the day, but I don't know. But he played okay.
Let me ask you guys something. If you are looking for the Knicks to bring in another piece next year, which of their current pieces would you look to move on from? Is it Bridges? Is it Anunoby? Because you're gonna have to give up something to get something.
I don't think that they need a big piece. I really don't. I think if they had another scorer off the bench that doesn't have to be a superstar, right? That is maybe, and I like Deuce, but is maybe 5 points better than him, and then you get another shooter off the bench, I think that's what they need. I like their starting five. Given that Mitchell Robinson would be there, but if you can bring a second team in that is let's say Mitchell Robinson, Deuce, another, and one or two other guys that can actually score the ball, then they're a completely different team, because then you can put Hart on the bench for a couple games, bring him up, and then move one of those scorers maybe in to the starting lineup. And I personally don't think they need another superstar on the team. I think they have what they need, and they really need to make the bench significantly better.
Okay.
Which could be a low end draft pick that falls for some reason, which could be, a guy that's, a disgruntled older guy that's looking to leave another
Like
team.
Russell Westbrook?
No.
More
No.
like Butler, Jimmy Butler or somebody like that.
Buddy Hield.
But no, I mean, even him, I wouldn't mind him, but you need somebody that you can rely on that is going to give you 10 to 15 points off the bench. And if they don't have anybody like that this year,
And the Pacers have like 6 of them.
Yeah,
They are loaded. That is such a good team, top to bottom. I was thinking about the Pacers because they were the 4 seed, and you watch them the first 3 games of the series, and you're thinking this team is so good, and yet they were the 4 seed. It's almost as if they, pun intended, paced themselves during the season. They win 50 games, solid season. But you look at their guys. Benedict Matherin's a good player, and he hasn't really done much in the playoffs. He comes in yesterday, and he's their best player last night.
Yeah,
he played pretty well. Yeah.
TJ McConnell is a solid bench player. He just hounds you defensively and creates shots for other guys. They just have so many guys. Nembhard had a terrible game yesterday, but
he has his
gotten
games.
better.
He's 14 a game, right? He's
Yeah, but Neesmith has gotten a lot better, and he's been a real pest defensively. Like he's just kind of Brunson's been getting his 30, but Neesmith's defense on him is just kind of almost like run him down. Where come fourth quarter, it almost seemed like Brunson was a little bit out of gas in the first couple games of the series. And Obi Toppin, former Knick, he gives them a lot of energy.
See, that's another guy. If the Knicks still had him, that would have that would help.
But they couldn't have paid him.
No, they couldn't have paid him.
Right.
I was checking this out. I'm like, why did they get rid of him? Because I liked him. I think he's a good guy. I know the town liked him, but I don't know. I think they have a chance. Are they going to win it? I don't know, but they might win this game. They win this game, and all bets are off. Right?
Yeah, really disappointing how poorly Indiana came out, and obviously that has something to do with the crowd and the Knicks playing with a lot of energy and force. But Tyrese Halliburton taking 7 shots in an elimination game, to me is disappointing because you're thinking, oh, we're up 3-1 and we have a home game. But in my mind, I'm thinking you lost game 5. Maybe the Knicks figured something out. Maybe they didn't. They go to Indiana. Someone gets into foul trouble early for the Pacers, or they're just not shooting the ball well, and the Knicks are in the game. To me, the pressure is on Indiana late in that game.
Yeah.
They lose that game, game 6. All of a sudden, you got a game 7 on Monday night in the Garden, which would be insane. If Scott Foster's refereeing that game, who the heck knows how that's going to go? And I mean, you can go from the Pacers looking like they're cruising into the NBA Finals to fighting for their lives in a Game 7 in Madison Square Garden. So I couldn't believe how weakly they came out yesterday. And then I'm watching the fourth quarter where they've been exceptional, and they looked very casual. I thought even the fourth quarter, a total lack of energy, as if they were just, okay, we're gonna lose this game. We're just gonna finish this game and go back to Indiana. I think it's a real big dice roll for them.
But don't you think it's like it? And I don't mean to be this like there's a gathering and the players have a meeting and say, yeah, we're not really going to go. But it was almost like, hey, let's come out there and let's try. And after the first 5 minutes, you know what? It's probably not our night. And Halliburton just wasn't going to, extend himself to try to win it, in MSG. I think if that game 6, he's gonna do everything he can. Especially hearing all the criticism now of why'd you only take 7 shots. He's gonna be chucking everything up in the 6th game, but I, that's what I think. I think they were after like 5 or 10 minutes after the first quarter. Maybe they were like, you know what, it's not our night, and we'll get them in game 6. But
didn't meet the Knicks intensity level. Came out.
Yeah, but see, you don't.
Yeah.
That's not.
Man.
See, it's not
Dangerous.
a good attitude.
Dangerous
It's not a
game.
good attitude saying, "Oh, hey, it's not our night. We'll get them tomorrow," because anything can happen.
yeah,
Like we all know, anything can happen. And if you think about this, that first game, having that first game
I know.
is just a killer right now because
I know.
It changes the series. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think let's obviously the winner goes to Oklahoma City, which is going to be a chore.
Brutal.
Neither of them will be favored.
No.
So it's going to be a chore, but they're sitting idle now. Maybe they're going to get, they'll be all idle and stiff, and whatever team wins this series might be able to steal game 1, and then you never know what happens. But at this point, the team that wins this is going to be tired. They're going to be beat up, and then they're going to have to go play this rested super team right now.
Yeah, they are starting on Thursday night regardless. So if this goes 7, game 7 is on Monday in New York, and then winners got to get out to Oklahoma City for a game 3 nights later, completely gassed. And OKC is just, in my mind, licking their chops because they absolutely dismantled the Timberwolves. I mean, it looked scary how good they are, how deep they are. Talk about a deep team, the Thunder.
Yeah,
Deep.
and think about where they were 2 years ago,
Mhm.
right? I mean, they were nothing, and now they're the super team.
Now
It's amazing.
this could be it's funny, interesting too. This is their second trip to the finals as Oklahoma City, right?
Yeah.
Right, and the first one was the Durant, Harden, Westbrook team,
Yeah,
which
And Serge Ibaka, remember as well.
Serge.
Yeah.
And there was somebody else who was big on that team that was really good.
that
But-
was a great team.
Nick
But the thing,
Collison.
yes. There you go. And no, it was but the thing about it was, okay, you're going to have 3 Hall of Famers coming out of there. Technically, I don't even, not that I want to say they will deserve it, but they're all going to make the Hall of Fame. Especially if Carmelo made the Hall of Fame, anybody can make the Hall of Fame.
Well, it
but
just goes to show you score baskets and you make the Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, so what happened was with those guys was, you had 3 amazing players. All of them wanted to be the ace. They all wanted to be the alpha, and they all felt, hey, I could go off on my own to do something, and I'll win. I'll be the star at another team, and I'll bring them to this. And here you go. Now Durant did it, but he did it with the Warriors, right? So like that's a different whole situation. He joined an organization that was really close anyway. He just brought him over the hump, and I'll admit that. I loved him when he was on the Warriors. I have a autographed picture on my wall right now of him. I love him, but he brought us over the hump. That's great. But Westbrook, nothing. Harden, nothing, and Durant, nothing on his own. So whatever they were thinking, that we're better separate. If those guys had ever decided to play together for 3, who knows what would have happened? You just don't know. But I think they would have won a championship together. I really do. So the interesting thing about this Oklahoma City team is that there's not a lot of egos on this team. Because I don't even think SGA has a big ego. I really don't.
No,
But there's one superstar,
I think you're right, Brian.
and the rest of them all know the role. And one thing I have to tell you, and this is you got to think back at this. Jalen Williams, every time I see him, there's 2 Jalen Williams, right? Okay, the one who's good. He looks just like the father on House Party, kid's father on House Party. I don't remember what that guy actor's name was.
Eyes, Robin Harris.
Yes. He looks just like him, doesn't he?
He has those sleepy eyes, right?
Yeah.
They're like half closed.
Yeah, he looks like the father on House Party. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh, the father. He must be the son of the father on House Party. It's just amazing how much he looks like him. But yeah, he's a good player too. He's a sneaky good player. Like
And
a
a
lot
great
of people
defender.
don't realize how good he is. Yeah.
Very good defender. They had Chet Holmgren, who I think when Chet Holmgren was a rookie coming in, we were all wondering, how is this guy going to play in the NBA being so frail? He's been very good as a pro so far. And he had that injury, so then you're thinking, oh boy, look at him. He's frail. He got injured, misses his first year. He's been a very good NBA player. That team, like you said, Brian, is
and he was picked number 1 though, right, Mike?
Yes.
Was he number 1?
Yeah, he was.
Wow, was he?
Yeah. So I mean, for he fits that team perfectly well, right? But he's not being asked to carry that team by any means. And I think that's what's making him so good, unlike like a Zion, right? Where
or
you know,
Sean Bradley. Yeah, I mean,
or Sean Bradley, yeah, like they're asked to just like carry teams, and they, the organizations are bad and they're terrible. Whereas OKC is a great organization. They bring in the right pieces, and they don't look at him like, oh, well, you're our savior, go save us. They look at him like, you're a great basketball player, go play great basketball.
Yeah. He was actually number 2 behind Paolo Banchero.
Oh,
oh,
okay.
that's right.
Okay.
Who I love, Pelham.
Yeah. But the thing I really like about the Thunder is when they win a game and SGA or whomever was the star of the night is getting interviewed, and then all the players go.
Yeah.
And they surround the person getting interviewed. And then SGA, when he was named MVP, got all of his teammates gift bags, which were included, I think, a Rolex watch and some other stuff.
Yeah, he didn't get me one. Why?
Yeah, worth $25,000. He didn't get one for the coach. Coach kind of joked about that. And then they made this sneaky good move during the season, trading Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso.
That was a steal.
Oh my gosh, Giddey's a very good player. He's been very good for the Bulls. But
Giddey has a lot of like outside the drama, right? Some crazy stuff going on.
He was actually terrific for the Bulls after the trade, averaging nearly a triple-double. But Caruso just fits that team perfectly. He's a dog on defense. He was hounding Anthony Edwards throughout that series as best he could, and he was just a menace, and he just fits in perfectly. I mean, that whole team is constructed so well, and Sam Presti, the GM, has done a brilliant job, and he still has a stockpile of draft picks. So this team could make some moves to stay under certain aprons within the salary cap, and they've got so much draft capital that they can just essentially keep reloading the team.
Well, and this playoff experience is going to help them too.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they're just going to demolish whatever team they play. But again, you never know what happens, right? You never know there's an injury. You never know. Something could happen. Maybe they choke. Who knows? But I just can't see them happening.
How sad are the Sonics, Brian, the city of Seattle? This is their team.
It's terrible that team ever got moved.
I know. It's such a...
I love
this
their
is
uniforms.
Their team.
They had a cool floor. They had cool uniforms.
Logo.
Yeah. They sold out like every night, right? The fans were always there.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't it. It was just the arena was a mess.
Yeah.
Key arena, right? And then you see Sean Kemp, who was recently, I think, arrested or sentenced for firing a gun at someone in a parking lot. So,
jeez.
Oh, you can't do that?
Former Seattle Sonic. No, can't do it, Alex.
Yeah.
You can do it.
What's funny is they had some really good teams. The team that won was a team kind of like this Oklahoma City team. There was there was Gus Williams maybe and Sigma, but it was everybody had their role. Everybody had their role in that team, right? Freddie Brown, downtown Freddie Brown. That team is very similar to this in a lot of ways, where there was no real alpha. There was just a lot of really good players who knew, again, come in, and Paul Silas would come in, and they had that team that won, the Seattle team. Now the other Seattle team with Gary Payton and those, Kemp and Detlef Schrempf. Yeah, they were a lot of alphas on that team. They could never get, they went pretty far, but they couldn't get to the promised land.
Ran into the Bulls, unfortunately.
Yeah, I remember the Warriors beat them one time, upset them one time in play.
The Nuggets, first time a 1 seed. Their loss as a 1 seed to the Nuggets, in a 3 out of 5, I think, is what led the NBA to make even the first round 4 out of 7.
Yeah. I went to one of those games too.
Mm-hmm.
That I have to say this is very similar in a lot of ways, and those kind of teams are fun to watch. So I like watching Oklahoma City because I don't hate anybody on that team. It's not like I'm watching John Morant, who I can't stand, or Rudy Gobert. I watch that whole team. I like. They're nice. I like to see it. I root for them. They're good. They're fun to watch. They play a good brand of basketball. In this day and age where sometimes people complain about the way people play basketball, Oklahoma City plays a good game of basketball. So I have a feeling, again, we don't even know what's going to happen. So I'm not a betting man. Let me see. But I am a betting man. But anyway, I'll see what happens. Let's see what happens. I'm going to root for the Knicks if they're in. if they play Indiana, I'm going to totally root for Oklahoma City to just demolish them.
All right, I think we should cover it quickly. It doesn't
Yeah.
start till next Wednesday. NHL Finals. I can't
Yes.
believe those guys have like 5 days off, but I guess
Yes.
the first two series ended pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
Edmonton and Florida.
Yep.
What do you guys think?
Well,
Who are you picking?
I'm taking Edmonton right now because they've the whole year long they were just not playing the way they should play. Now they're just on a roll. I just can't see Edmonton losing, but Florida is Florida, and
Yeah,
they're
they
back
know how
every
to
year,
Yeah.
and they have one of the best goaltenders, and goalies kind of can turn a series.
Yeah.
So I'm still going to say Edmonton. I'm going to say Edmonton in 6.
I'm rooting for Edmonton as well.
Same.
Whatever it takes. Yeah.
And I think they are they hosting the first 2 games, Edmonton?
I don't know that. I should know that. I don't know that.
So this is a rematch too, right? Last year,
Yep.
the Panthers are up 3 games to none, and it went 7, which is pretty wild. Be great to see Connor McDavid win a Stanley Cup, and the Edmonton Oilers have probably the best national anthem ritual I've ever seen, where the singer starts "O Canada" first couple bars and holds up the microphone, and the entire crowd, every single fan in there is wearing an Oilers jersey. It seems like.
Yeah, that's great.
The crowd sings "O Canada," which is awesome. So I think I may actually flip this series on to watch this because the Oilers.
Well, they're both really good teams. Like, I have to say, I really wanted to see Toronto, and I really wanted to see Winnipeg get in because they just have never had a chance. But this is fine. You're seeing the best 2 teams in hockey right now. It's not even a question in my mind. So that's good. When that stuff happens, it's good for the sport. So it's going to be a great series. It'll be a battle. Again, there's going to be a lot of fights. These 2 teams, they hate each other. So good goalies, and it's going to be a good series. I'm looking forward to it. I'll try to watch as much as I can. I'm going to be traveling a little bit. So, when you go to sit there at a bar by yourself, you watch games. So I will watch as much as I can.
Personally, I was rooting for Winnipeg because I wanted to see the Jets win a championship in my lifetime.
There you go. I think they won.
Howard Chuck could never do it in the 80s.
Did they win when Bobby Hull was on the team or something? I don't even know.
I thought that was a football jab, personally.
Yeah, I know it was a football jab.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and I heard. I don't even want to talk about that because I've heard the new quarterback is not really. His practices have been less than overwhelming.
Is this surprising in the least? He's on his 3rd team.
I know.
Aaron Rodgers is still available.
Oh no! Yeah, well, yeah. I heard Ben Roethlisberger was complaining that they're even giving him they should even talk to him. He said let Mason Rudolph lead the team, which just cracks me up.
And so did Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah, Bradshaw.
He called him a joke.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did he say? Go back and eat some what buffalo chips or something. What did he say?
Eat some bark. Eat some bark.
Yeah, go eat some bark. Yeah. That's what it is. I don't think they like the guy because he's probably not your prototypical kind of player. He's not a guy's guy. I really don't think he is. You can tell the stuff he does, but and it's funny. Just another thing. I was in the store the other day. They had a brand new set of football cards came out. Right, I'm not really a big football card guy, but I'll get a pack. Open it up. Who do I get? Aaron Rodgers on the Jets. Like are you kidding me? Yeah, it's just like why? I don't want that card. But anyway.
That's funny.
So I think that's. How about another real quick thing I wanted to go through real quick with you guys. Juan Soto, what do you think is going on with him?
I mean, for me, it's the pressure of the contract. He always worked for that time, right? He always worked to be that free agent. And it came, and there's rumors that he wanted to stay with the Yankees. Michael Kay came out and said that his preference was to stay with the Yankees, but his family had preferred the Mets. So, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I think it's just the weight of the contract. I think he'll perform, but it's not, I think he wants to be the alpha, but he's not an alpha player. I think he's more of a, hey, let me just be the greatest, the great player. But lots of great players aren't good leaders. And they even said in the Yankees, like he had his own thing. And, while he was, great with the group and everybody in the Yankees loved him and the handshakes and all that, he's a little bit of an odd duck. And I think, that's not, the Mets are kind of this big happy family with OMG and, we're dancing around.
And they
doing
trade
these
him
things.
away too.
I know. Well, they didn't sign him.
They didn't sign him. They could have signed him for nothing. I mean,
yeah. But I think I think the Mets were trying to change the culture a little bit. That's why they didn't bring him back. They wanted to get a little bit more professional. And, Soto brings that, but that's what he does. Like he's a briefcase guy, right? Like I'm going to show up and I'm going to play great. And he does it by, by example. He's not the one that's giving the rah-rah speech and telling everybody what to do. So I think he'll come around. I really do. It took Lindor a long time. Everybody forgets like how he didn't perform for the beginning of the first 3 years he was there. Did better this year, but did he do better because everybody was looking at Soto and not Lindor anymore, right? Like
no, Lindor played great last year though.
Not at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, not at the beginning of the year. He was awful. Yeah,
yeah, like April and May, he was terrible. But I just think it's the pressure of the contract and changing around. I honestly believe he's going to be fine. It's just I think people are surprised that it's taking him longer to fit in. But I think once it heats up, I think he's going to be really good. That's my opinion.
So. Alex, did anybody say why his family preferred the Mets over the Yankees?
No, it just it was just like.
Well, didn't he have that whole situation with his family coming to the suite or something like that?
That wasn't true. He said that wasn't true. Yeah.
It wasn't true. Okay.
He said that wasn't. Soto specifically said that wasn't true. Now, if he's just trying to do that to save face, I don't know. But they asked him that, and he said no, that his family, had a great time with the Yankees and all that stuff. So,
yeah, I'm with you, Alex. It's such a long season that he'll be fine, and he often performs really well in the playoffs. And the Mets, assuming everything goes according to plan, will be there. So I think this is all going to be water under the bridge as the season goes on and as the contract evolves as well. But right now, there's that anticipation that he's going to perform from day one, and he's just hitting his weight now, only 8 home runs. But yeah, I agree with you. I think he'll be fine and the Mets will be fine.
Yeah, I mean, some Met fans are out there saying, oh, I hope he opts out after 5 years and we don't have to carry this guy. I'm thinking, oh my God.
New York fans, right?
Yeah. What can you do?
Okay, so let's wrap this episode up. This great episode. We will all be rooting for the Knicks, I think.
Even me.
Yes. Mike
Let's go, Knicks.
We'll see what happens. We're all rooting for Edmonton, so we'll see what happens. And the next time we'll talk, we'll go through that. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Good night.
This is Tom Carvel. Thank you for listening to 3 the Hard Way Sports Podcast. Remember to get a Fudgy the Whale or Cookie Puss for the next time you're sitting down to watch the big game.